Hi, I'm Chris Ward, or as known as Christian Chiller in many circles. Call me what you like. I wanted to introduce you to my open source board game that is currently in development, and it is called Chip Shop. I would very much like people to be involved with the game as well. There's a lot to do. Anyone who's ever made any form of game will know that, and I will make no pretense that the steps to be involved, the processes to be involved, the instructions on how to be involved are almost non-existent, but that doesn't mean that you can't be. So if you'd like to be, then just get in touch with me and we can talk some more, because it takes time to open source anything and make workflows and structures make sense. So I do apologize if it's not obvious, because not much is. So I am now going to switch the video to my computer screen and talk you through the website and a few other things, and just give a general introduction. See you on the other screen. So, welcome to my screen. This is the work in progress website of the game. I have attempted to make it look like some sort of 80s inspired computer, but it needs a bit more work yet, and still yet to be sure whether this font is actually readable or not. But anyway, down the left hand side we can have the ability for people to contribute through PayPal or Bitcoin, and more options to come, newsletter, and the latest fixes been working on in the game. And if you click the Trello board link, you can actually get through to see more tasks, and hey, see a task maybe you want to get involved with. We have the production blog link, which this is the first video production blog post, but there's been many more going back in the past. Reviews of books and ideas I've had and things like that. We have the manual. This is a bit all over the place at the moment. It needs some ordering. I have been initially using Scrivener for the manual working through, and I've been slowly transferring the content from Scrivener into the website, mainly because then people can see the changes made to the manual pages and see the reasons behind those changes and things like that. Whereas in Scrivener, as good as it is, it's kind of just for me, unfortunately. And that said, there's a lot of the game that is open source, as much as it can be, but there's more to be transferred yet. And you can see some of the cards I'm still working on in here and the status of them, so there's a lot more to come yet. On the subject of cards, we have the list here. We have 3 types of card there, and you can read about these more in the manual. There's events, which are random events that you don't have a tremendous amount of control whether they happen to you or not. We have personalities that you're trying to attract to your company, and they bring different levels of benefits and cost. And we have products. These are items that you build during the game. And there are some products that are less valuable than others, and this is one issue that I struggled with initially, was like, why would anyone build them in the first place? Why would anyone build a product that was a failure historically? So a mechanic they're going to try for that for now is that based on a certain score that you currently have, each player has to draw a certain amount of product card each turn and has to pick one. So you always have to pick something you're going to build, and it may be that you end up building poor products if you have a low score at the time. And I'm also weighing up whether we have Ticket to Ride style mechanic, where if you don't finish products at the end of the game, you're penalised as well, so you also don't want to be producing too much and overstretching yourself. I will probably show the structure of these cards more when we get to the creation screen, but you can see some of the items here. Most of the flavour text at the moment is just lorem ipsum, not most of it, all of it. And these graphics are supposed to be an approximation of looking like a 90s graphic, but they end up just looking bad. It's strange. It's actually quite hard to recreate 90s style graphics, it seems. So we have various cards here at the moment, and there's more to come yet. Let's have a look at the contribute link. My pronunciation is rather strange today. I don't know why. And yes, that's alluding to the fact of what I already mentioned, that I need to get more online yet. But the one thing anyone can do right now is create new cards. I'm not logged in on this screen, and I can immediately just jump through. And this will help actually break down some of the structure and ideas behind some of the concepts in the game. So initially we just have your name and email, and there is spam protection on this form as well. And this is so I can get in touch with you, and we know who has tried to create the card. Title and real title. I have made the decision to use real historical people and products and things like that. But it may be that we don't get clearance on some of those titles. So the real title is reserved for maintaining the inspiration behind the card, even if we end up not being able to use the real name, but I hope we will. Categories, there's not a lot you can actually pick here at the moment, because we only have one region and era at the moment, but over time these will become greater. And we have the card type, the 3 card types we already mentioned. Details, we have the card text and the flavor text. The card text, as you can read in the help text here, is anything that doesn't fit in the scoring and the costs. So generally we hope not to have too much in this field, but if there is nothing else, then it will go here. And flavor text is just the flavor text, some background, some history, a little bit of history on the product, etc., etc. And we can add an image here as well. Most of these buttons should be reasonably clear to anyone who's ever done web editing, but this one on the far right is one that lets us link. So one thing I tried to do was to enable the game to be easily translated in the future, and also to replace a lot of the text with icons and things like that, is create game concepts. So instead of having lots of text that has to be rewritten all the time, we actually have a list of concepts instead that can be linked to. So we have things like a product becoming superseded, defunct, bankruptcy, things like that. And we can link those concepts to these text fields. At the moment, this is just showing all the content on the website. It will be filtered at a later date. But for example, if we look for defunct, we will see we can pick it here and embed it into the field. And at the moment, it will give this strange output, which is just referring to the ID of the content, but when that is saved and viewed, it will actually display, at the moment, the title of the item of content instead. And maybe in the long run there will be icons or things like that, but it gives us the option to have those linkages created, and we can define how they are displayed at a later date. Costs. So this is the resource costs that each product costs. And these fields will vary slightly depending on the card type as well. So this is what we're looking at for a product, but for example, a personality requires different sorts of costs. So in this case, we have staff resources, research and development, and marketing, and then special. And again, we have this link field. So for example, this could be that if you've already built an Amiga 1000, then the cost of building an Amiga 500 is slightly less, things like that. And on the other side, we have scores. The points of loyalty you get, the points of profit you get, how long you get those points of profit. Each other score is a one-off, but the profit can go for a number of rounds. Longevity points, and then again, special. Do you get, say for example, there are accessories, and with accessories you attach them to another computer product. So it may be that it's you get half of the points on that card or something like that. Publishing details. Here we put the legal info, if you can find the trademarks and the registered trademark holders of the products. Hopefully that will help us be able to use the real names in the long run. And revision information is just, as I said earlier when we were talking about the manual, we'd like to have the ability for people to be able to read the changes made over time. So this is like if you've ever done any Wikipedia editing or something like that, just what did you do? And then you hit save. And that's pretty much it. All there is to it at the moment. And just to show you some other things, another idea I'm going to work on next, these are some of my mock-ups of some of the layouts of the boards and things like that. I do have this idea at the moment that each player actually enacts their company in secret. I thought that was an interesting mechanic, but will remain to be seen whether that is good or not, of course. Here's the different types of personality we have. One in the middle somewhere that I haven't decided yet. The card design mock-ups. These are going to be changing, I think, a little bit, but get the rough idea. Sort of idea around the scoreboard. To be honest with you, this needs some changing. This is a design that I've had for a while, and I probably am going to change it again. It's a bit uninteresting, really. And finally, the factory or the workshop or whatever it's going to be called, but these are the playing boards for each character, each company. And as I've already said, you can see lots of other bits and pieces in my Scrivener project as well, so there's a lot more to come yet. So that was my initial, just very quick overview of where the game's up to at the moment. There's a lot more to happen. I guess my next steps are getting some more of the cards in. I want to re-edit the manual and get the manual in an order that people can actually read properly now, and for it to actually make a sort of a sense. Now we've got a lot of the core concept in the game at this point in time locked in place, so you can actually start writing the manual properly, and so you can read through and understand how the game will play out, and of course solidifying up a lot of the contribute options. And again, I need to start setting, at the moment all the game is open, but the ideal would be that you become a subscriber and you can access print versions and things like that, and that's something else to be done. And of course you can always have a look at our Trello board to see how else to get involved. So that's Chip Shop wrap up for now. Keep an eye on chipshopgame.com or chipshopbg Twitter hashtag, and please let me know if you have any thoughts, ideas, or want to get involved, and thanks very much.